All right, cool. We're live. Hey guys, Remy Meyer here, founder of Hollows Body, formerly Mike's Arthur Gym. Today I'm with Mark Linsky. What's up, man?
Hey.
Today we're going to jam on a few calls that we had, I would say, in the last week. I had two different calls. Mark had another call, and where we noticed some, mindset issues, I would say, right? Where the mindset of those gym owners were in the way of them reaching their goals. So I'll just start with one of the calls I had recently. One of them was a gym owner, actually one of my clients, actually, who was just spending $10 a day on ads, right? And he was just, satisfied with that. And he was not changing the ad budget, right? But actually, he was telling me that he wanted to get more clients also, but didn't think about changing the ad budget, while actually, I think that currently he's multiplying his money by 15x on the first month. And then when he gets the membership payments, I think he's multiplying his money by more than 100x, right? And so, he was pretty satisfied with that ad spend and didn't change it, And so I would say that it's good to be grateful for what you have, but you should always try to reach for more also, right? So you want to have that balance between being grateful for what you have and also reach for more in the future. Because actually, if you forget to reach for more in the future, as a business owner, that's not a good thing, right? Because if you're not growing, it means that you're plateauing, or oftentimes actually, your business is slowly dying, right? What do you think about that, Mark?
Yeah, I can definitely say that if you're not growing, you're dying. I definitely agree with that, and it's unfortunate, but it's definitely true. One thing I would say is, as far as like the challenge here is finding that balance between, especially for gym owners, it seems like finding that balance between what they perceive as greed, what
Right.
they perceive as complacency, and what they perceive as contentment.
Right.
Now, what I would say plays into, like, the goal is to establish. I was going to say achieve or establish, so establish. The goal is to attain to a balance of some sort, right? And the best way to have balance is to have those three components kind of in synchronicity together, right? So you want to have freedom of your finances, right? So your job needs to bring you financial gain that's substantial, where you're not constantly stressed all the time as to whether or not you can actually take care of your family, right? And that's where understanding the churn rates and the revolving door, you do kind of have to always keep the thing growing, because even if you have like a 1% churn rate over time, you're still declining, which,
right,
as much as it sucks, 1%, let's say you have 100 members, 1% times, that's one member per month times 12 months. You just lost 12 members.
right. And actually, 1% is a good churn. It's not a bad churn. Oftentimes, it's more like
1% is not. 1% is unheard of.
Right.
Rarely does anybody ever have 1%.
Right.
Honestly, like, really good is 3 and less. Right. 3% and below is really good. Average is 5%, and then 5 to 8 is still very common. Right. It's not necessarily bad. It's just very common. So average churn rate is usually between 3 and 5. If anything lower than 3 is just phenomenal.
Right.
So yeah, like I say, if you have 100 members and you're constantly losing, even if it's just say 2%, that's 24 members over the course of a year that you lost. So if you had 100, you're 24 less than 100 now. I mean, what is that? I can't math off the top of my head. 76. So you lost a good chunk of members, and all you were doing is exactly what you've been doing all along. So you have to have some kind of you have to have that pedal pushed down somewhat so that that financial component can be there and can be consistent, right? Then the other thing is going to be your time, right? So you have to have freedom financially in order to stay in this game long term. You have to have things growing. You have to have freedom financially in order to keep things moving forward. You have to have some freedom of your time. If in order to keep things moving forward, it just sucks all your time up, then there's no way you're going to have any kind of freedom of your time. And you're going to just feel like you're struggling constantly. And it's going to feel impossible. Like the idea of adding anything else to your business is just insufferable, right? This is like, how could I possibly do anything else to my business? Because I don't have any time available to do that kind of thing. So you have to have freedom financially and then freedom of your time as well. And then the other thing is, if all you ever do is just, run that push, just turn that wheel all day long, and you forget to take the opportunity to enjoy what you do, you're in an industry that inherently requires a passion for it. And if you don't have a passion for it, you're going to burn out like crazy. Right. So you have to figure out some way to keep your passion lit. And that's where, freedom of finances is crucial. And you have to be able to have freedom of your time. And then you also have to feel like you're having an impact on your community and on your job, on the people that you're helping. Like, that's how you get those three things all have to be there. And if those three things are there, I would say, and you can keep those three things in a balance, I would say having contentment in that is a wonderful thing. But I think a lot of times people will skip to this last one, which is I'm having an impact on people. And then they'll just settle in and get complacent in that. And they're like, and that's where I stand to say, hey, that's not okay. It's not good enough. You can't just have an impact on people. And they're like, well, you're being too, cold and cold-hearted. I'm not. What it is I want you to have an impact on people long term. And there's no way you can have that impact on people long term unless that impact you're having then generates the financial yield and then also the time yield, because you need time to be able to generate finances. And in order to generate finances, you have to have open doors. And in order to have open doors, you have to be able to care about people. So it goes forward and it goes backwards.
Right. It's not a charity that you have, right? It's a business. Right. So of course, we want you to provide impact to your clients. We want you to fulfill your purpose in life, right? To have that massive impact on people's health and fitness.
Right.
But we don't want you to have a charity, right? It's a business that you have, and it needs to help you in terms of your income and in terms of your freedom. So that you actually have the time to spend time with your loved ones. Because, let's say you only have the income, but you don't have the time or the impact, and be satisfied with your business, right? If you only have the impact, but you don't make the income, or you don't have time, you're not going to be satisfied. Like, if just one of those things is missing, you're not going to be satisfied, right?
And I think a big trouble with that too is that people forget that the reason why that's a problem is like, for example, if you don't have an impact on people, if you focus too much on the impact that you have on people, which is a wonderful thing. If your doors are closed because you didn't turn a profit, doesn't matter how great of an impact you can have on people, you can't have any because you're closed.
Right.
Or if your family is falling apart because, you don't have any time for them, you're not going to be able to have any impact on them. Right. So like I said, all three of those things really have to work together as in synchronicity.
And so don't get us wrong here, right? One of the exercises that we give to our Gym Owner clients is to practice gratefulness daily, right? So let's say you have a life partner, a wife, a spouse, or a husband.
Life partner. That's so politically correct. Carry on.
You can share probably, let's say, 3-5 things you've been grateful for that day. Before going to bed, you share 5 things you've been grateful for, and you have that little, 5-minute gratefulness moments. It's great. It's good for you. It's good for your partner. It's good for your couple, and it's good for your mindset, right? If you don't have a life partner, you can also use a journal, and you can journal, right? You just write down 5 things you've been grateful for that day. We want you to practice gratefulness, right? But not in a way where you stay complacent, right? Not in a way where you're like, oh, I only have 50 members and I'm still not able to make a salary. And well, actually, it's because I have a second job that I can have the gym still open because I have a second job, or it's because my husband or my wife has a job. And man, I speak with gym owners all the time, and
All
it
the time
happens
I see that. Yeah.
really, really often that the gym owners are not paying themselves a salary, and they are living off of savings, or they are living off of the salary of their partner, right?
Yeah, that's
Or
mind
of a
blowing to me.
second job.
That's mind blowing to me. How many people are like,
Mind-blowing.
well, this is cool. I get to run my gym because my spouse has a job, or life partner, as you say, has a job, and and it's it's just the craziest thing to me. It's like how is it okay that you just have this time suck? Like at some point in time, there'll be a point in which everything has to give to an extent, right? It's like your business either has to make some money, or you have to put very, very little investment of your time into it. Because if your business isn't making money and you're investing your time into it, unless you just have a whole lot of just charity time to give, it's going to put a strain somewhere, either on the spouse that is working, or on your time, or your energy, or your ability to put into the business, and have quality be what you're putting into the business, because you can't put quality in forever without receiving quality in response.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And so, oftentimes when I speak with, oftentimes some gym owners, not all of them, of course, but I would say there is like a third of the gym owners I talk to where I don't even make them an offer because I can't feel the motivation. They're just too content with their failing business, right? I cannot make them an offer if they are feeling content already. And if I don't hear something like something has to change, I need a radical change. I want to have a system to get 20, 30, 50 or more new members per month. I want to change something here. I want to be successful. I need to hear that, right? But there is about a third of the times where I do not hear that, and I don't make an offer if that's the case. They would tell me things like, I understand it takes time to grow a business, and so I'm content with what I have now.
Or it's like that's fine. It's good to recognize that, but like that's like if that's an excuse to not push the pedal down, a lot of times that's a really big issue.
It's like an excuse to reassure themselves so that they feel better about the situation, while the situation is quite often pretty shitty. It's like working a bunch of many hours, like oftentimes it's like 60, 70, 80 or more hours per week, not getting paid a salary, sometimes having to work another job, tension, within their relationships, their spouse. The situation is pretty shitty, but they reassure themselves by, by saying things like, yeah, I understand it takes time, or they would tell me things like, most of the business fell after 5 years, and we're still in business, so we still have the gym open, so we're doing okay.
Maybe.
Well, not really. You're doing okay. Yeah. The gym is still open because your husband is paying for it, or because you have a second job, or because otherwise you wouldn't have the gym open still, right? So I think it's also so it's important to be grateful for what you have, for the impact that you have, for the gym that you have, the community that you have. Yes, be grateful for all of that, but also it's also important to try to reach for more in the future.
Yeah, and yeah, like you're just saying, it's one of those things. Not just because the gym is there are so many of those gyms that we talk to, they're like, well, I've been in business for more than 5 years. It's like, have you though? Like, you make really essentially minimum wage. It's like that's not really business at that point. That's just a really
Right.
great way of filling up your time.
It's an
And
expensive hobby.
expensive hobby, yeah. And maybe a hobby that gives a little bit of money back, even, but it's, I don't know, glorified volunteering, may I say?
Right. Yeah. So just to give you like an example, recently I spoke with a gym owner telling me, we are growing with one new member per month. We have 60 members now. We want to be at 150. So that's a delta of 90 members, right? There is a gap of 90 members. With a rate of one new member per month. And let's assume that the churn is zero.
Impossible.
100% retention rate, right? Let's just assume they keep everybody,
Not
as a best case scenario. Not realistic, but let's just assume that for now.
Roll with it.
That's 90 members that she will need to get, the 150 member goal. That's 90 months. If you do 90 months divided by 12, that's 7 years and a half, right? And she was telling me that she was content and satisfied with that situation. And I was like, wow, I'm sorry, but you're not a fit for our program. With our program,
Right.
we can show you how to get 20, 50, or some of our clients, they do 75, 80 or more in a month, new members per month, and they can do that consistently, right? It's not like it's a one-time shot and then we show you how to get 50 members and then the month number 2 or month number 3, it stops. No, it's consistently each and every month we can show you how to do that. If you're satisfied with just one new member a month, and if you're satisfied reaching your goal in 7 years and a half, then keep doing what you're doing. Great. I don't think you need us.
Yeah, but that's just assuming that even that though, that's assuming that 0% churn rate, which is just
right,
literally,
which is not
literally
realistic.
not possible. It's
right,
not even humanly possible. And that doesn't even really have anything to say about how good you are. It's just like you can't help other people from like moving or
right.
Getting injured at work, or just
right.
so many things that you can't control.
And so this was the best case scenario, right? 7 years and a half. But actually there will be churn, right? There is always churn. Let's just assume a low churn, let's say 2% or 3%, right? It means that she will never, ever reach the goal ever, right? Never, ever. While right now, she's not getting paid a salary from the gym business. And it's basically a failing business. So my point here is that being content with that is so dangerous, not just for the business, but it's also dangerous for you with your personal life, because she's not getting paid. She has to work for that failing business, so she's not getting the time, and she's not gonna get the impact either, because she's never gonna have those 150 members, right? So you want those 3 things: income,
right,
freedom, time, and impact. But here, being content in that type of situation is so dangerous. Of course, be grateful for what you have. You already have 60 members. That's amazing. You have a gym. That's great. You're a certified personal trainer. You're a certified nutritionist. Yes, be grateful for that. You can journal about it. You can close your eyes and touch your heart and do a little meditation about it. We want you to be grateful, right? But also try to reach for more. Being content in that type of situation is dangerous.
Yeah, the reason why it's dangerous is because those 3 things are not all in synchronicity, right? There may be a great impact there, but there's no freedom of time or freedom of finances. So it's like that's where the danger comes in, and I think that balance is the way. That's where the danger comes. If you ever manage to strike that balance of being able to have all 3 things, then that's awesome. But until then, I think the pedal needs to be put down. Excuse me, until all those 3 things are there. But I think the pedal should be put down with those 3 things in perspective.
Right.
Because I think sometimes people get kind of taking the opposite side of what you're saying, but still the same thing really is I think a lot of times people get stuck focusing too much on trying to grow, and they forget to allow their growth to become sustainable, such that they get the opportunity to enjoy the freedom that comes from it, right? But you can't have that until you've first worked for it. So there's just, everything has to remain in balance. You can't just stop working on those three balance pieces.
Right. Yeah, for sure. It's a balance. We want you to be grateful while still trying to reach for more. It's not greed, right? It's just having a bigger impact, better income, better freedom. It's not about the greed, right? It's about being a business owner, right? So be grateful for what you have now, but as a business owner, you should always try to reach for more. Otherwise, if you're not reaching for more, it means that you're plateauing or that you're dying, right?
Yeah, more likely the dying. Plateauing, right, unfortunately, doesn't really happen as much in business. You usually are either going backwards or you're going forwards.
Exactly. Here, that example I took here, she was thinking that she was actually growing slowly, but that's not the truth. Actually, with just one new member per month, with the churn, actually, best case scenario, I don't know, she would lose one, get one. So that's a plateau, but probably more realistically, actually, is gonna go down. So be grateful, but always try to improve, your marketing, improve your sales processes, improve your systems, improve your delivery, right? Just improving things. I think it's Tony Robbins who says that progress equals happiness, right? It's when you make progress that you're happy. Right? It's not about actually reaching the goal, but when you see the progress, you're happy, right? And so being too content when the situation is actually not that pretty is dangerous. You should try to reach for progress. You should try to, improve things.
That's right.
All right. I think that's it for today. Any other things you want to jump on, Mark, today? All good?
No, it's just really that pursuit of those three things in conjunction with one another. One, right, the three-legged chair has to have all three legs doing their job,
Right. So we're getting serious about this YouTube channel, about this podcast as well. I just got a new microphone. We're getting serious about it. We're going to do this, probably every week. So like the video, subscribe to the YouTube channel, or subscribe to the podcast so that you can get the notifications when we release new podcast episodes or when we release new YouTube videos. Bye, guys. Bye, Mark. Thanks.